Reverend Father Dr. Paul Mungadi Weta. I work for AMESEA Secretariat as in charge for integral human development. Integral human development has 7 programs. One of them is Caritas. Uh, we have also integral ecology. We have health. We have governance and electioneering. We have justice and peace. We have migrant and refugees. These all programs are, of course, founded from the social teachings of the church, of course, the 10 principles of the Catholic Church. And specifically, each of the program is we uplift the dignity of every person in different ways, and especially those who are vulnerable, those who are challenged by conflict, those who are challenged by health, those who are challenged by lack of education. All these type of groups, we support them through lobbying and advocacy mainly. That's what we mainly do at AMESEA. So my office is on deemed on advocacy. So advocacy for the rights for refugees who are in camps and displaced persons. It is also an advocacy for people for their health care, right to health, right to education, and then again on climate justice. And mainly we've been dealing around implementation of Laudato Si encyclical by the Holy Father Pope Francis. We thank him because it's a very rich document which actually has been adopted by all communities and not specific Catholics, but the communities. Actually, you hear all groups of people speaking about Laudato Si because it has the thematic themes that are addressing key issues that are affecting the human person today. One of them, the Holy Father says, cry for the mother heart, because the cry of the mother heart means that the people are suffering because the environment today has been dilapidated by human activities. And so we are not getting enough rains because possibly people have done quite a lot of extractions, massive, but without even caring for the mother heart. And so he says, this mother who feeds the human being, if she is hurt, then it means the mother cannot feed. It means then, if we deforestate our communities, if we burn charcoals, if we cut our trees, and then we do all manners of extractives, then at the end of the day, this human person will not be able to feed himself or herself. The other one also, he talks about the cry or the response to the poor, the cry of the poor also. That majority, especially in this continent of Africa, they rely on subsistence farming. So when we have no rains, it means majority of the people in the AMESEA region have no food, because mainly that's what how they feed their families. So if we don't take care of the environment, then it means our people, poor in numbers, will have no food security. The third one is also what the encyclical propagates on ecological economics. One, people are doing their businesses, but without caring what even how they do it. And so as the advocacy from AMESEA, we are saying, no, there must be ethics. You know, there is also ethical investment. There is also ethics in doing business. Because you are finding people cutting indigenous trees, which were traditionally were attracting rains. And so that's why today you find some places are now, we are growing the desertification within Africa because people have really cut trees and even these indigenous trees. So these all themes are in the secular. And more than that also, I stand for peace and justice. And this is where we connect very closely with the Paktipan, including also Laudato Si, because there's a program for Laudato Si among the program of Paktipan and gender. And so we as AMESEA also, we said we need to advocate for the youth space in the communities and in the society. One, I mentioned that most of our AMESEA countries have their challenge of peace. One, we have been talking about elections. No country within AMESEA has ever done that we call 100% democratic elections. And so these politicians or those people in the government, they hire youth who sometimes they even call them goons, or they, hired goons. But these are our young people, because they have no jobs opportunity, they will do any kind of work to earn their food, or even to have shelter. And so we have seen this culture spread within most of the AMESEA countries, that all the youth are used in Kenya, sometimes by the politicians, and at the end of the day, they are the people who are going for demonstration and they lose their lives. So AMESEA felt in its wisdom that because this problem of the youth is growing every other day in all these countries of AMESEA, let us come up and now incorporate the Sinondo theme as propagated by Pope Francis, that how can our youth now be part of the Sinondo journey. So we are working with the youth to discuss the issues of their employment, because a lot of them, they have good certificate, but unfortunately these are our countries, sometimes they can't sustain the numbers of the youth who are graduating from the universities every other day. We have also most of them now abusing substance, others being used as by people who just want to use them for their own ends. And so that's why the bishop felt, no, we have to give formation to our youth. Let us also listen and to them. Possibly they have issues or they have agendas that they need the church to interact with and also be part of the church, because that's what Sinondo is about. So the theme on governance, the theme on justice, the theme of communion are so key, so that the youth can be part of decision making, not only in the church only, but also in the government, as also participating in the parliament. When they get also elected in the future, then at least we have people who are contributing to the good governance, because they have formation through the Catholic social teachings. So that's why actually we thought as AMESEA, these are very key issue that really, and very timely, because we have seen what the youth have been doing within our communities and countries. Maybe I can even continue saying more, but sister, possibly ask another question. Sister, thank you for that question. I have been running a program at AMESEA actually, both last year and this year, and we are under a program of inculcating the culture of peace vis-a-vis to conflict that is agitated by some of the activists. And we are taking this from the background of Jesus Christ's teaching, and also from non-violence agenda, which is actually propagated by the church. Non-violent, but through this non-violent movement, then we can also still profile the agendas of the youth in our communities. And of course, one of them we have seen the high numbers of unemployment, which is very key when we talk about the youth. Again, elections in most of our countries within AMESEA are too expensive. So it means these youth who are graduating from universities, where have they gotten the resources now to do campaigns? Because people expect to be given money by politicians. So, but those in power, because they have amassed wealth through corruption, and so they block these youth from contesting this elective post, because they can corrupt their ways, or they can bribe people to vote for them. But this young man, who has even quite a lot of talent within himself, has not this kind of opportunities. But that's why we are saying as AMESEA, this moral formation, that at least, even if they become whatever professions they take in life, at least they know their background of being good Catholics or being good Christians. Then through that, then they can also lobby for good legislation in the parliament that can support the poor, the vulnerable, or even the youth who have no abilities of maybe having the resources that very particular time as they graduate from the university. But at least they are gifted, they have wisdom, they have leadership qualities, and they can also do quite a lot. Only that the gap is having resources for their campaigns currently. Of course, it's the youth ambassador who is really a youth himself speaking to the fellow youth. Of course, we have also a program for the youth, but that would really be very key in case we get an officer who is directly dealing with the youth and in this case a youth himself or a youth herself. So if we have that desk actually for a youth, I think it will even add more value because a youth will be propagating the youth agendas within the youth. And of course, because it's a youth, he understands the youth more than us who have after the age of being youth, according to the definition of the United Nations. So, and of course, specifically is that a young man or a young lady who is speaking to the fellow peers in their language that they understand. That's why the intention of the bishop of creating an office desk for the youth. Yes. Yes, I'm saying, my dear youth in Zambia, please come in numbers. You registered already as voters. If you have that voters card, please make sure you vote your candidate. And if you, by not going, you are supporting that candidate who either is not propagating agendas for the country. So please make sure you come out in numbers and let us vote our candidate, or whoever candidate that you are supporting. You have the freedom to choose whoever you want, but let us also be observe peace during the election day. Let us also not be allow ourselves be used by politicians during an election. It is your democratic right to vote. It is a democratic right for every youth to vote, and your card, voting card, can change the life of Zambians. Your vote can change the life in South Sudan, because the South Sudan and Zambia are having elections this year as our Messiah countries. So mine is just to invite you, mobilize your friends, to mobilize friends so that you can vote in numbers and vote the persons that you like for the good of your country, Zambia and South Sudan.